Hello everyone, this is Navarsha, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, Engineering College, Bikaner. Uh, in previous lectures, we have studied about data traffic and congestion, what is congestion and how can we achieve congestion control mechanism, how can we achieve congestion, how can we control congestion. So today we will see what are the mechanisms which we can use for to control congestion. So basically, congestion control refers to techniques and mechanisms that can prevent congestion before it happens or remove congestion after it happens. Two types of mechanisms are there. First mechanism is applied before congestion to prevent congestion, and second is applied after the congestion happened. So in general, we can divide congestion control mechanism into two broad categories. So first one is open loop congestion control, and which is known as prevention, and next one is closed loop congestion control, which is removal of congestion. Okay, so these two categories are further divided into. For open loop congestion is basically retransmission policy, window policy, acknowledgement policy, discarding policy, and admission policy. In closed loop congestion, we have back pressure, chalk packets, implicit signaling, and explicit signaling. Okay, so first of all, we will see what is open loop congestion control. Basically, in open loop congestion control, policies are applied to prevent congestion before it happens. So in these mechanisms, congestion control is handled by either source or destination. So we will go further for open loop congestion. So first one is retransmission policy. The retransmission is sometimes unavoidable if the sender feels that a sent packet is lost or corrupted. The packet needs to be retransmitted. So retransmission in general may increase congestion to the network. However, a good retransmission policy can prevent the congestion. So the retransmission policy and the retransmission timers must be designed to optimize efficiency and at the same time prevent congestion. For example, the retransmission policy is used by TCP protocol. Next, we have window policy. So the type of window at the sender may also affect congestion. In selective repeat window, it's better than go back and window for congestion control. Okay, because in selective repeat we have to transmit only the frame which is lost, but in go back and protocol we have to transmit all the subsequent frames. So if we choose selective repeat, then it will be good for congestion. So in go back and window, when the timer for a packet times out, several packets may be resent, although some may have arrived safe and sound at the receiver. This duplication may make the congestion worse. The selective repeat window, on the other hand, tries to send the specific packet that have been lost or corrupted. So we prefer selective repeat instead of go back and for if we want to control congestion of the network. Okay, next we have acknowledgement policy. Acknowledgement policies imposed by the receiver may also affect congestion. If the receiver does not acknowledge every packet it receives, it may slow down the sender and help to prevent congestion. Several approaches are used in this case. A receiver may send an acknowledgement only if it has a packet to be sent or a special timer expires. A receiver may decide to acknowledge only n packets at a time. So we need to know that the acknowledgements are also part of the load of a network. So sending fewer acknowledgement may imposing less load on the network and also less congestion. Okay, next we have discarding policy. So basically a good discarding policy by the routers may prevent congestion and at the same time may not harm the integrity of the transmission. For example, if I take audio transmission, so if the policy is to discard less sensitive packets when congestion is likely to happen, the quality of sound is still preserved and congestion is prevented or alleviated. Okay, next we have admission policy. And admission policy is a quality of service mechanism. It can also prevent congestion. Switches in a flow first check the resource requirement of a flow before admitting to the network. A router can deny establishing a virtual circuit connection if there is congestion in the network or if there is a possibility of future congestion. Okay, next these were open loop congestion control mechanisms. Next we will see closed loop congestion control. Closed loop congestion control mechanisms try to remove congestion after it happens. Several mechanisms have been used for different protocols, so we will see them. Okay, first one is back pressure. So what is back pressure? This technique of back pressure basically refers to a congestion control mechanism in which a congestion node stops receiving data from the immediate upstream node. So this may cause the upstream node or nodes to be congested, and they reject data from their upstream nodes. So and so on. A back pressure is a node-to-node congestion control that starts with a node and propagates in the opposite direction of the data flow, opposite direction of the source. The back pressure technique can be applied only to virtual circuit networks in which each node knows the upstream node from which a flow of data is coming. Because in see two types of switchings are there. First one is virtual switching, or we can say connectionless and connection oriented switching. Then virtual circuit switching is basically connection oriented service. So in connection oriented switching, all the nodes knows from where the data is coming. So this back pressure we can apply for connection oriented, that is circuit switching, virtual circuit switching. Okay, so if we see in this figure, node 3 has more input data than it can handle. So what it do, it drops some of the packets as its input buffer and informs node second to be slow. So node 2 may be congested because it is slowing down the output flow of data. So if node 2 is congested, it informs node 1 to slow down, which again may create congestion. If so, then node 1 informs the source of the data to slow down. So this alleviates the congestion. After all, the source will slow down the data flow. So congestion will be removed, will be alleviated. So the pressure on node 3 is moved backward to the source to remove the congestion. So that's why this is back pressure algorithm, back pressure technique. Okay, so next we have chalk packet. A chalk packet is a packet sent by a node to the source to inform it of congestion. So there is a difference between back pressure and chalk packet. In back pressure, the warning is from one node to its upstream node. But although the warning may eventually reach the source station, but in chalk packet method, the warning is from router which has encountered congestion to the source station directly. So there is no intermediate node in between. So the intermediate nodes which are not warned. So when a router in the internet is overwhelmed with IP datagrams, it may discard some of them, but it informs the source host using ICMP message. So ICMP is Internet Control Message Protocol, which is used for error detection. Okay, so this is how chalk packet works. This is same thing. Okay, next we have implicit signaling. In implicit signaling, there is no communication between the congestion node or the nodes and the source. The source guesses that there is a congestion somewhere in the network from other symptoms. For example, when a source sends several packets and there is no acknowledgement for a while, then one assumption is that the network is congested. The delay in receiving the acknowledgement is interpreted as congestion in the network. The source should slow down. Okay, so this is implicit signaling. Okay, next we have explicit signaling. The node that experiences congestion can explicitly send a signal to the source or the destination. The explicit signaling method is different from chalk packet method In chalk packet method, a separate packet is used for this purpose, but in this explicit signaling method, the signal is included in the packet that carry the data. Explicit signaling is can occur in either forward or backward, both the directions. Okay, so backward signaling, a bit can be set in a packet moving in the opposite direction of the congestion. So this bit can warn the source that there is congestion and that needs to slow down to avoid discarding of packets. In forwarding signaling, a bit can be sent in the packet moving in the direction of the congestion. This bit can warn the destination that there is a congestion. The receiver in this case can use policies such as slowing down the acknowledgement to alleviate congestion. Okay, thank you so much.